So the podcast airs every Wednesday from 7 to 8 Central on Facebook. You can look it on Red Level's platform or on my Facebook page at Michelle R. Dunham, or just simply type in Misfit Lawyer. It's also aired on YouTube and it's saved there. So if you miss it, you can watch it anytime, just Misfit Lawyer. And you can also go to my website, www.misfitlawyer.com.
And what's the goal with the podcast?
The goal with the podcast, again, is to highlight these females out there playing, female student athletes out there balling, and to help create a pipeline and a path for them to be able to get paid to do it once they finish school.
Okay, great. What's next for you, Misfit Lawyer?
What's next for me? I'm going to get out there and I'm going to hit the pavement. I'm going to start recording, going live at these girls' games. I don't. What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your girl, Misfit Lawyer, coming at you one more again with a big what's up. Are y'all hearing the echo? Let me hear it. Let me see in the chats. Are y'all hearing the echo from me? Okay, I guess not. So I'll keep going. So what y'all been doing out there? I've been just training, trying to get ready for the season. I hope y'all been doing the same. We have a great show tonight. Unfortunately, the ladies of the Fierce Beauty Football League couldn't make it tonight. There was a schedule conflict. They're getting ready for their season to start this weekend. So I'll have them on next week. But there was a scheduling conflict that they couldn't come on. So sorry about that, girls, but ladies and gentlemen, sorry. But we still have a great show for you tonight. We have Coach Andre Wright, the Right Touch Athletics. My coach, he is the cause of this ego and these great moves, and just helping me learn the game. So we're gonna have a good time tonight. But before we get started, of course, we're gonna roll through these what happened this weekend. So first with the WNBA, the regular season wrapped up this weekend. The three teams were playing musical chairs for the sole remaining playoff spots. So the Mystics and the Sparks were both down by playoff bound teams, sending the Liberty to their first postseason since 2017. Anything happened in New York in a New York minute, right? So the seeding for the playoffs is also now set. So we have the Liberty that will face the number 5 Phoenix Mercury. We have the number 6 Chicago Sky, who will take the number 7 Dallas Wings, and this will all go down tomorrow. This is going to be the first round single elimination. So you guys pay attention to that. We'll talk about it next week. So the top 4 teams, including the number 1 Connecticut Suns, who finished the season with a 14-game win streak, all earned buys for later rounds. So more to come on that again tomorrow. So NFL Week 2 recap: the good, the bad, and the ugly. Y'all ready? The Buffalo Bills, we see you. We see the Buffalo Bills out there, the reigning AFC East champions. But Cowboy says he's rooting for the Liberty. All right, Cowboy. We know you're rooting for the New York team. So the Buffalo Bills, who are the reigning AFC East champs, they put on a show in front of the Miami Dolphins. Okay, so that was a 35 to 0. But in Miami's defense, Tua did get hurt. So y'all know I have to put that out there. It was a rib injury. Sounds familiar? Okay, moving on. So later in the day, this weekend, we had Tom Brady and the Bucks tight end, Rob Gronkowski. They added another 2 touchdowns to their career combo, bringing them to, I think it's 102, just 12 shy of the highest scoring duo in NFL history, which was who? Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison. I should have gave a prize out on that. That should have been a quiz question for y'all. I'll have another one, don't worry. So then we had the interceptions too. Interception was the name of the game for two of the teams. We had the New York Jets rookie QB Zach Wilson. He threw 4 picks, and the Jets lost to the New England Patriots. And the Cincinnati Bengals lost to the Chicago Bears as second year QB Joe Burrow threw 3 interceptions and 3 consecutive passing attempts. Yikes. So let's talk about these injuries. Some of the game's biggest names suffered serious injuries. Aside from Tua, the Cleveland Browns wide receiver Jarvis Landry, Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker TJ Watt, Bears QB Andy Dalton, and Houston Texans QB Tyrod Taylor all exited the games with injuries. We hope they get well soon, right? Let's get back on the field. So let's go to these college games. In week 3, we saw plenty of chaos. And y'all know who we're going to start off with. Alabama held a narrow win. They had a narrow win against those Gators. But they extended their 17-game win streak, and they maintained the top spot. We had Clemson and Ohio, who played each other in last year's football playoff semifinals. We flipped to number 9 and number 10, respectively, after closer than expected wins on Saturday. As for the upset, previously ranked number 24 Miami lost to previously unranked Michigan State, while unranked West Virginia rode the country roads. I made that up. They rode the country roads to a win over previously ranked number 15 Virginia Tech, V-Tech. All right, so let's move on to Major League Baseball. We're a little under 2 weeks from the final day of the regular season, and tempers are already flaring. Where's Courtney? Courtney responding in the chat over there. We got a baseball fan over here. The American League wild card race is tightening with 3 after American League East teams battling for 2 spots. And then over in the National League, we got the Milwaukee Brewers clinched their 4th consecutive playoff spot with a win on Saturday. Way to go, Brewers. I know an avid Brewers fan, so she was probably at the game, as a matter of fact. So then we're going to talk about rugby too, rugby sevens. And over the weekend, Team USA women's rugby advanced to the finals of the first half of the World Rugby 7 Series before falling 34-12 to Great Britain. So y'all know I can't move on to our guest without telling you what's good. I got 2 things today. The first thing that's good is I know you guys remember that the whole abortion issue where it happened earlier this year where a bunch of uninformed men, I'm not afraid I can say that online because they passed the Texas Heartland Act bill, which restricted women in Texas from getting an abortion after 6 weeks gestation. Over 500 women athletes are taking the stand on new abortion restrictions. Here yesterday, over 500 collegiate and high school athletes, including Megan Rapinoe, Sue Bird, and Lashia Clarendon, also as well as some WNBA players and some WNWSL players, filed an amicus brief that with the Supreme Court arguing against the ban. So in the brief, the athletes argue that Roe versus Wade has had an incalculable effect on the growth of women's sports and the empowerment of female athletes, and includes statements from players who have had their own abortion experience. The brief is 73 pages long. And if you're thinking about taking a look at it, I think you should. As a matter of fact, I think I'll post it tomorrow on IG or Facebook. Now, if you don't know what an amicus brief is, it's something that you would it just has information. Usually groups, organizations will file this with the court because they don't have standing to be a part of the suit. So it just includes information that can help the court make decisions on claims that those parties don't have standing themselves to be a part of. So that's the first thing that's good. The second thing that's even better is that just last week, the city of Birmingham in Alabama, the city schools of Birmingham declared women's flag football an official sport. So they're down there getting ready for a season. So you guys stay tuned. Of course, I'm going to be down there recording, talking to those ladies. Y'all know Alabama is the birth of football, so football capital of the nation, world, roll tide. So moving on, that's what's good, y'all. So let me introduce my first guest. This guest is very special. Coach Andre Wright was my very first coach. He for in the sport of in football. He is what you would call broke me into the sport. I'm very excited to have him on to talk to him. I think it's been what I think 7 years. But before I bring him on, I want to play a little something for you guys. So the podcast airs every Wednesday from 7 to 8 Central on Facebook. You can look it on Red Rebels platform or on my Facebook page at Michelle R. Dunham, or just simply type in Misfit Lawyer. It's also aired on YouTube and it's saved there. So if you miss it, you can watch it anytime, just Misfit Lawyer. And you can also go to my website, www.misfitlawyer.com.
And what's the goal with the podcast?
The goal with the podcast, again, is to highlight these females out there playing, female student athletes out there balling, and to help create a pipeline and a path for them to be able to get paid to do it once they finish school.
Okay, great. What's next for you, Misfit Lawyer?
What's next for me? I'm gonna get out there and I'm gonna hit the pavement. I'm gonna start recording, going live at these girls' games. I don't. So I'm gonna let you guys know why I played that, but I'm bringing on Coach. Hey, Coach, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing tonight?
I am good. So, Coach, so before we get started, I want everybody to know that that guy with the bald head in the back, that's Coach Wright. That was Coach Wright on all those videos. I don't know if you guys, for those of you that were following me last year, I would post a video every week of my training with my football training with Coach. We would train 3 to 4 times a week for 2 hours, and Coach was the guy that's always in those pictures. So, Coach, welcome. Tell us
Thank
a little
you.
bit about what you do, Coach, before you get
Okay.
into and no coaching on this.
No, I definitely want to do that tonight. But I first and foremost want to say I'm very proud of this platform that you have. I'm honored to be on here and be a part of the movement, that you have started. And it's just great to see yourself and so many other uh, young ladies and ladies striving for equality. One thing I will say about you before you start asking me questions is just your work ethic in everything that you do is incredible. And that's the probably single thing that made my decision easy when it came to deciding you or not. Um, Trained female athletes before, but I know you didn't have a lot of experience, but the one thing that you did have is passion. And passion, in my opinion, supersedes experience at times. You can be taught and trained, but you can't teach somebody to have passion. So keep that passion in what you're doing and continue to make me proud. I'm definitely looking at you and smiling and just checking you out. So I just wanted to say, keep doing what you're doing and never lose that passion that you have.
Coach, you're gonna make me cry. Just so y'all know, Coach is never this vulnerable. Okay, he's not like this on the field. I just want to
Yeah,
tell. Can I tell one story, Coach? So,
I got I got a different side to me, as you see. But I mean, my
I just need
job
to
is to
tell.
is to make sure that I can get the best out of you, and you know, that's the one thing that brought us together. You wanted to be pushed, and you knew I was going to push you. So it was just destined that you and I, not only crossed paths, but went down a path. I mean, I thank you because one thing that I didn't want to do and would never do it, I'm sure, as we get into this interview, um, is to train and to separate my training, uh, male versus female. And that's the one thing that you said to me. And I kind of looked at you like, oh, no, you ain't got to worry about that. That ain't going to happen. So, that's one thing that I liked about you as well, that, you didn't want to be treated and trained any differently. And I guaranteed you and promised you that that would never happen with me.
Yeah, Coach, but you took it to the limit, like But with that being said, here's the story I wanted to tell everybody. So I always say that, I've been playing football since I came out of the womb, but it wasn't until I moved to Chicago and I started playing organized football, which is a lot more than just, running around on the field, catching the ball, the things that you do on the weekends or after school with your friends. So when I met Coach, we met at a basketball gym, right? So I'm like, why are we in here? We're supposed to be on the football field. Like, why are we here? And he was like, you cannot go on the field until you're ready. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I've been playing sports. I've been working out. I'm thinking I'm just, ready. Like, whatever. This is gonna be. Oh my goodness, Coach. I remember the time when I came in there and we were doing drills. And you were like, what's wrong? And I said, nothing. And I kept going. And then we had a break. And then I said, Coach, my ankle hurt. And then I took my shoes off and I showed Coach my ankle. And both ankles were this big. And Coach was like, you better go home. I said, He sent me home. But that's how intense the training was. And that wasn't even on the field. And coach, he said it, I told him I did not want to be treated differently from the guys. Coach had me in there with the guys. I trained and I learned this game, with guys that coach had been working with for a long time, for guys that had been playing ball, they were playing in college, and they did not give up. They did not show any remorse for the fact that I was a girl. So I do appreciate that, coach.
Yes, yes. And from day one, I can say, when she jumped in there, I mean, they could see that she was, very raw. But the one thing, I think at the end of the session, or it might have been when I gave everybody a break and, kind of wanted to get their ear on what they thought of her. And some of them had said, and, we've shared and laughed about it, was like, I don't know, coach. I don't know. She real raw. She got that passion, but we gonna have to see, time will tell. And sure enough, Michelle would get in there and just give it her all, and she didn't understand a lot of things that, she was doing, but she was doing them at full speed. And you can't teach that, So that's the one thing we all saw. We agreed and said she's somebody that we definitely want to attach ourselves to and bring her in. So my guys that she's speaking about definitely, had, experience and actually in college at the time. So Michelle was with them all the time, meeting with them, learning, asking them questions. And that's the one thing that I like about you, that, you know, to me, you never had too many questions. I mean, you had a lot of questions, but I never
I feel that on
discouraged
the
you.
field, coach.
I mean, but I mean, that's the great thing about you, Michelle, and even this platform. As we go on in the interview, I'm definitely going to talk about, share my opinions about you and your personality and creating this platform, which is flourishing. But it just shows that passion that you have. So I'm gonna let you get into the questions that you may have,
Thank you,
and
coach.
I might go off track a little bit, but reel me back in.
That's okay, coach. We have all the time. We get the whole segment this today, so we got a lot to talk about per usual.
Okay.
So, coach,
All
enough
right.
about me. Tell us about Right Touch Athletics. What is the Right Touch Athletics? How did you get into that? What made you start this business?
I've been in sports my whole life. Started probably when I was 5 years old, and I played football, baseball, basketball, track. Continued to play sports as I got older. Elementary school, junior high school, and um, I started to write such athletics actually from coaching high school football. I ended up taking about, I think it might have been about 25 to 30 kids to two camps. One was in Los Angeles, California, and the other one was in Jacksonville, Florida. And
Mhm.
I needed help. I recruited other coaches. Some of my high school coaches helped me out, and we got kids all over the state of Illinois, and we sent them and just showed up and showed out in Los Angeles as well as Florida. A high school senior showcase game for those athletes who may have been overlooked. At that time, like I said, I was just coaching. It went so well. I probably had, out of those 25 kids, 20 or more receive full scholarships. So from that, I went back and was going to continue to coach. And some of the parents just came back with the feedback and, showing gratitude and appreciation and telling me, I need to, do more than coaching. And I'm like, coaching is enough. I mean,
Yeah.
what else do you want me to do? And they was, just asking me different questions and things like that. And I said, well, yeah, I'm willing to do anything that's going to, benefit our youth and,
Yes.
teach them and educate them. So I had a parent who knew a lot about nonprofit organizations and me, would you be, interested in creating, a non-for-profit organization to continue doing what you're doing. So she gave me the knowledge and support system that I needed. And that's how the Right Touch Athletics was created. And I was able to bond with a lot of important people, not just on the athletic side, but the academic side, like the Sylvan Learning Center. That
Mhm.
partnership, I was having my student athletes get free tutoring, basically 3 days out of the week. And also when it came time for them to take their ACT or SAT, Sylvan was right there, helping out and partnering with me to
Okay.
get that needed education boost that they so much needed.
Okay, so tell us a little about you. Who are some of the athletes that you work with?
Well, I mean, it's oh my goodness, I guess I probably won't name individuals
Well, just
throughout.
what leagues have you worked with? Okay.
Okay, as far as sports, is that
Yes.
what you mean? Okay,
Hmm.
honestly, when I first started, it was just football. That
Okay.
was Right Touch Athletics was just football.
Okay.
But of course, like I said, I grew up playing all sports, and God knew that any athlete could benefit from the Right Touch Athletics. What the Right Touch Athletics is is speed and enhancement training, and that training is for basically any sport. So I've trained soccer, uh, football, baseball, basketball, track, the girls' dance team,
Right.
cheerleaders.
Cheerleading.
I'm so proud of that. I had a cheerleader get a scholarship to Bowling Green University.
Hmm.
That is something that really, really, I like to talk about. But basically, swimming, golf, in any sport that you need to be explosive, quickness, endurance, change of direction. So that's what the Right Touch Athletic teaches and trains, and the mentoring that goes on. So these young men and young ladies also had the opportunity to meet a lot of professional athletes through Right Touch Athletics.
So it's funny that you say that. When you were always telling me every time, I felt defeated, or if I felt like, every now and then I felt myself, felt like I had this and stuff. You would say, Michelle, you have to always be a student of the game. Let's talk about the mental versus the physical piece. How important is it to have a balance of both? I mean, is it possible to be a star player where you don't have, where you're not always learning or mentally fit, but you're a great runner or receiver? Is there a balance there?
It definitely should be and needs to be a balance. Talent could take you so far, but if you don't learn the game, you don't really understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. You're basically doing, what you're told, what you're taught, and what your God-given ability is. But when you become a student of the game, you understand the why, and you begin to ask the why, and you begin to want to search out the why. So when you're looking to achieve greatness, you have to understand and know and be willing to be on the other side, not just the physical side, but the mental side. So that means the preparation that you have to go through, film study, which you and I have done numerous and numerous of hours, numerous and numerous of days, months. me continuously sending you, text messages and watching games and dissecting and talking about those games and things like that, that we do. It's very important that you become a student of the game, the mental aspect of otherwise you're not going to reach your full potential.
Right. Right. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about you and your football career. Tell us a little bit about your time playing football, the high school and college. Did you attended Louisville? You played for Louisville,
Right, the Cardinals.
the
That's
Cardinals.
my alma mater.
Yeah.
I started Pop Warner, Harvey Coates, which the Harvey Coates probably had about I'd say probably 10 professional athletes come through there, to go on to play in the NFL. A lot of us from the Harvey Coates went to Thornton Township High School, which I think had at one time they had 10 athletes all playing at the same time, which was unheard of. I mean, you hear that in Florida and in Texas, but
Alabama.
at this time, actually,
And Alabama.
yeah, Alabama, maybe like 5 or 6, something like that in Alabama. But so, so
Don't
I
make
was,
don't make you get started. You want to know the numbers?
well, Alabama right now, I can't take it away. Alabama has definitely become a football hotbed. Not only at the high school level, but of course at the college level. So Alabama is definitely on the map. If anybody don't know Alabama is on the map, they don't follow football.
Roll Tide.
But,
Don't
but
forget.
yeah, so I'm sorry, I was able to get a scholarship. I had several offers to play football and baseball, and that was one of
Mhm.
the things that I wanted to do. So the school that I ended up deciding on was the University of Louisville, and at that time, Howard Snellenberger, for those who may not know, he was at the U, where Miami won their first national championship, and he had a belief in an arrogance, but a confidence that he could come to the University of Louisville, not Louisville, but if you down south is Louisville, and turn that program around. And that's exactly what he did. And I was definitely a part of that. My freshman year, I was redshirted, but I played and started center field on the baseball team, which, I was happy about that. My sophomore year, I was able to get on the field and definitely contribute. In my junior and senior year was the same. Injuries kind of railroaded any possibility of me, becoming a professional athlete, but it didn't, steer away my passion to share what I learned at the collegiate level, and not only going to so many seminars and different things, meeting different coaches and professional athletes, and so the technique training and teaching that I do is from me being a student and getting the mental and asking questions from these coaches, from these professional athletes, and being able to be around them and share this gift.
Yeah, Tina says technical difficulties. Are you guys not hearing Coach?
Let me try my volume.
I
Let me
hear you,
see.
Coach. I hear you fine. So, Coach, so you've trained both male and females. Is there a different technique? Let's talk a little bit more. I know you said that when I came on, I said that, don't treat me any differently, do handle or train me the same way you do your guys. But that's me. But was there anything that you did differently or that you paid closer attention to because you were training a female?
No, what I do, it's more so the individual, the athlete. Every athlete's not the same. So male or female, you have to be in tune with that athlete that you're training. So as far as the drills, the routines, the amount of time that we would train, it's no different. And some athletes could take, more. Some athletes need it less, as far as time and techniques and fundamentals and just emotional, build up. So
Right.
I've never trained, you know, male, female athletes any difference. I will say through my experience, the female athletes are more receptive. Uh,
Okay.
some of the male athletes seem to be a little more, macho,
Right.
confident that, uh, some of them needed to be humble. Whereas I would say most of the female athletes that I trained, they weren't like that. They were like sponges. And I've had some great female athletes, and I would include you in that. But there was a humbleness more so with the young ladies and ladies versus the young men and men. But as far as what I did, my technique, I've never found myself saying, "Oh, I can't do this with her because she's a young lady or a lady." Never.
So that's something that's common across the board for all the coaches that I've had on, and the league owners there. That is a common statement that the women are more receptive, and they say I've heard that the women are more competitive as opposed to macho.
Well, I would agree with that. I've had some athletes though that eat, sleep, and drink, that particular sport that I was training them in. But honestly speaking, overall, that's me, in my opinion. Yeah, I would say the young ladies and ladies that I've trained, uh, they were more passionate. They were more
Yeah,
focused. They were bigger students of the game, So maybe that may have come from some picking up the sport later than some young
right,
men and, teenager athletes did. So because of that, they maybe understood and through conversation with me that, they needed to catch up and they were willing to catch up. And
right.
so, those, when you got two people on the same path and understanding and wanting the same thing, you should be destined for greatness. And that's what I liked. And that's what, when we got together and when you and I got together, that's what we strive for is perfection and greatness.
Yes. So, Coach, you know my platform. I'm out here trying to, well, I am out here fighting for um, pay equity for women across the board in sports. And what I'm running into is an issue with women who have spent the greater part of their lives training, preparing for a sport, eat, drinking, and sleep in the sport, as you just said. And then when they graduate from high school or college, they just dropped it. They just dropped the sport. It's like that's not an option. There's no option. What are your thoughts on how female athletes can address that drop off?
Well, I mean, one, you know, um, platforms like this, other platforms, with sponsors, with colleges, with professional athletes having a platform, and it's a lot of them now. You know, they need to continue to be the face and encourage young ladies and talk to, sponsorships because a lot of that has to do with funding. Who's willing to
Right,
put their money and invest, and a lot of times they need, when I say they, meaning corporate America needs to be educated. And
right,
if you're not going out to see you really don't have an ideal. It's more so hearsay and a assumption. Um, but I believe a lot of these sponsors and corporations now are getting on board, and understanding that these young ladies need, professional platform to continue to be able to strive in sports. I know they had a situation in the NCAA tournament, um, where they had, bubble for the women and for the guys,
Right.
but the facility that the women were training in was not up to standards, and they put the NCAA on blast very quickly, and
Yeah.
it took that, to put them on blast. But I will say they stepped up, you know, and unfortunately, sometimes we have to, just put these situations to these, big corporations and sponsors, and call them out. And a lot of times, it's just, believe it or not, uh, a lack of education, in my opinion, meaning you can be very intelligent, but like I said, if you don't do the research and the groundwork, and
Right.
know exactly what you're getting and what you could be getting, you have no idea.
Right. And also having some females sitting at those tables at the board in the boardroom, making initiatives and cascading them down, and along with speaking up and speaking out. So
Most
okay.
definitely. Most definitely.
Okay, coach. So let's talk about your coaching style, or your philosophy. I'm sorry, we already talked about your style. Tell us a little bit about your coaching philosophy. If someone says I've trained with Coach Wright, they're gonna say what?
Well, part of my philosophy, and I'm sure I share it with you, I have my 3 Ds: is dedication, determination, and desire. You have to have those. And that's not only in sports. As I talk to you and other, young
Mhm.
ladies and young men and men and ladies, that, you have to have that. If you have those 3 Ds, that'll take you anywhere in life. So when I'm training and teaching and mentoring, I share that, those 3 Ds: dedication, determination, and desire. And if you got that, that can take you a long ways. You have to understand and know, why, you know, are you dedicated? What are you dedicated to? You know,
Right.
what is your
Yes,
desire?
you do.
What do you want to be? What is the final outcome? You know, so then you have to be determined. And it's going to be a lot of blocks, a lot of failure, but you have to get past that, and really, be focused in order to succeed. I mean, I look at you and your professional career, and when I say, because you're a professional, you got two professions, but in looking at both of them, how they mirror each other is, you wouldn't be successful as you are as a lawyer and not be successful as a football player. And what I say to that is, like a student athlete. Back in the day, athletes were just athletic and good. It wasn't the cool thing to be smart. But now, when you
Right.
look at your best athletes, uh, male or female, they're on the honor roll. They're the high honor roll. They're the leaders of today and tomorrow. And that's because they have those, might be other words, but my 3 words
Right.
is the dedication, the determination, and the desire. And along with that, you have to have the focus.
Yeah. Well, the 3Ds always came out about an hour and 30 minutes into the practice when I was walking, walking instead of running out of the break. But
Oh, most
you
definitely.
did.
Most definitely.
You did, coach. So, Coach, you've heard about these new NIL rules where we have these college athletes that are able to make money, and some high schools now. I think in Chicago they passed a law or regulation saying that high school students can make money off of their name, image, and likeness in high school as well. What do you think about this new trend, and how do you think it's going to affect them in college or their
Well,
chances to go to college to play?
honestly, I'm sorry for kind of cutting you off.
That's okay.
I like it. It's a changing of the time, and that's just what it is. We have to understand and realize that, life changes, decades and, decades, things change. So, excuse me, if these athletes are able to, benefit from a platform, and today's social media is a $1 billion platform. And if that platform, fits and it's respectable and those things that it needs to be, then why not be able to make money from your namesake? As we know, a lot of these young men and young ladies, and me dealing, and one of my partnerships is with Rainbow Push Excel, and well, I'm gonna say maybe, I don't know, 90% of those young men and young ladies are, coming from poor communities and single parent communities. And if they're able to benefit from that, I think it's great, starting at high school. And then when you get to college, we know how much the colleges are making. I know when I was back in college, they were doing things under the table, to take care
Yeah,
of these young men and young ladies who actually, they just needed financial help, you
right,
know. So now if you can, help these athletes and they can help themselves, why not? As long
right.
as they're doing it, in a way that they're not shaming, themselves, their families, or the universities. It's enough money in this world to go around.
Right. And I see Cowboy, he made a good point. With the percentage of college athletes that make it pro, the chances of them getting drafted, it kind of helps if they can make some money while they're in college, and it can help pay in the event that they don't get drafted to a school that they want to.
Most
So
definitely. Thank you,
that's a
Cowboy,
great
for
point.
that, because that is definitely so true. On my college football team, I think there might have been like maybe 80 people on our team. We traveled with about 60. I would say that I can think of, it might be one hand. So my college was less than my high school, as far as athletes that went pro. you
Right.
know so yeah, that's very true. It's so many different things that happen, and a lot of times at the end of the day, right place, right time, and it's God's plan. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to turn this into a religious platform, but I believe in God, and things happen for a reason. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So if you're able to get money and make money, and help your family as well as help yourself as well as your family, like Cowboy said, you chances are you probably won't go pro, but that money that you was able to receive from playing college can go a long ways in you building and becoming, your own boss or entrepreneur, and sharing and giving back funding for young men and young ladies to continue to have a dream.
Right. Right. So, Coach, I hope you don't. We might run out of time. Are you in a hurry? I have a few more questions. We
No,
may go over a little bit. It's supposed to end in an hour, but I have a few more questions for you.
okay.
It's okay.
I'm here.
Okay, so Coach, we talked about the NIL and how you feel about the collegiate students getting paid while they're in college. Can you let us know? And you played in college. You played at Louisville. Can you give the student athlete some insight on what they need to do to prepare to go pro? What do they need to do in college? And then what do high school students need to do in high school to prepare to be a number one athlete in college?
That's an excellent question, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm probably gonna, you know, here's what I say. Today, most athletes have trainers. Now, then you say, well, what if my son, or what if I can't afford a trainer for my son and daughter? Then I say to you, go to YouTube. We YouTube
Right.
everything. YouTube will teach you anything you want to know. So that training that you may not be able to pay for, you still can get it. You have to have extra training, you know, and what it is, whatever sport you're playing, you're going to only spend so much time. They're going to teach you that sport, you know, how to play football, how to play basketball, track, so on and so forth. But that extra training that you need is to help you become stronger, quicker, faster, better in shape. So now you can stand out. So now you can encourage and motivate your teammates and star, you know, want to be because you put in that extra work. You know, there's
Right.
not too many athletes that we see and hear about that does not have a personal trainer. So you need
Right.
to have some type of extra training. If you can afford that personal trainer, that's awesome. If you can't, go to YouTube. Let YouTube be
Right.
your personal trainer. There's so many personal trainers that share, that have platforms that you can pick up information every single day in every sport. So of course, when you get to college, you once again you got that coach uh, that specializes in just coaching you in that
Right.
particular sport. But you yourself need to go beyond just that coaching that you're getting, even though it may be a Hall of Fame coach. You're still,
Mhm.
whether it's the trainer that's assigned to that university, you know, you need to be with him or her doing extra things to sharpen your skill set.
Right. So it's just not so people come out and they brag. They're like, "Oh yeah, I got a offensive coach that I train with. I got all these coaches," and then they think they're going to be fine. You need to do some education on yourself and training on your own. Take that extra step.
Most definitely.
Okay.
Most definitely. I mean, because, you know, look at you and I. As many years as you and I've trained, you know, you've had to go different places. You know, you train with different, you know, coaches, and you've learned different things and different techniques, and you're able to compare and see and feel comfortable or know, am I going to spend any more time or any more money with this person who may not give me what I need? You know what I'm saying? So it's good to be able to step away and step out there by yourself and take that training that you know you've got from me. Take that training that you've got from other coaches and implement it to yourself. You know, so yeah, all athletes, don't matter the age. I train as young as 6. Um, and actually younger than that, depending on their, you know, balance and coordination and ability to be able to, you know, focus on what I'm teaching and training. You know, so yeah, you need to start as soon as possible, but understand, keep it fun. You know what I'm saying? Don't take the fun away from these young men and young ladies. Otherwise, they grow up too fast and they lose the passion that you haven't lost.
Right. So, Coach, let's lighten it up a little bit. I guess we got questions coming in. Everybody wants to ask Coach Wright, but I have a question for you. We have to talk about these Bears. Coach is a Bears fan.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say I like the Bear. I'm not gonna say I've been watching the Bears this season, and with the Bears coming off their first victory of the season, coach, and Justin Fields expected to make his first NFL start Sunday. There's plenty of talk about Brad Biggs' weekly mailbag. This is the question: will Matt tailor the offense for rookie QB Justin Fields, and why haven't the tight ends been more involved?
Well, here's what I say, and this is what I've been hearing on talk radio. And I feel like any good coach, any good trainer, like I said earlier to you, I stay in tune and focus with my athletes or athlete if I'm doing one. Justin Fields, Matt Nagy needs to tailor that offense to his strengths. And if that means adjusting and tweaking and even throwing out the offense that he had at Kansas City, he needs to put his ego to the side and understand that whatever is best for Justin, that's what I'm going to do. So hopefully he does that. And as far as the tight ends, I definitely agree. They definitely need to get those tight ends more involved. That's a safety valve for Justin to become more comfortable with those big targets to check down with them.
Okay. And so, in general, what do you think about Justin Fields? What do you think of
Now
him
here's
as a rookie?
I've followed Justin Fields since he was in high school, and I'm gonna say for anybody who know and they want to chime in, it's a quarterback competition that was called the Elite 11. It was 20. Uh, it started out with more than 20. It got down to 11. That's why it's called the Elite 11. But it started out with probably 500 or more quarterbacks throughout the country. And so when they got down to this 11, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, who actually battled and played each other in high school as well. They were battling to be the best quarterback. And the person who won and was crowned the best quarterback of that high school Elite 11 was Justin Fields. People seem to forget that. I don't, because I watched it, as it was going on. So I'm saying what I've seen from Justin Fields from high school through college and now in his professional career, I definitely like Trevor Lawrence. I still feel they neck and neck. But if I had to make a pick, my pick would have been Justin Fields. There's nothing that he can't do that Trevor Lawrence does. Both of them are going to be tremendous quarterbacks. I think from what I've seen, they're both tremendous young men. But Justin Fields has a bright future ahead of him.
Okay, what do you think about Mac Jones? I'm just kidding.
Matt Jones is, yeah, that's shit. Your Bama, you kept telling me about Matt Jones. You did, and I
Didn't
kept
I? I
saying Matt
told you.
who? Matt who? I didn't know who he was. I would try to be
The
sarcastic.
Big Mac. I
I
told
like
you.
him. I like him. There's nothing about him I don't like. So that young man right there, just quit the Tom Brady comparisons. Although I can understand why, but Matt Jones he's going to be around for 12 to 15 years. Barring no injuries or anything like that. I can see him winning a couple of Super Bowls.
Yeah. I like the way he was third string, and he sat there and he can't, you know the story. We talked about it the whole, we
Yeah, we
bantered back
talked.
and forth. We have an audience question though, Coach. This is from Clinton Stonewall. Because of paid athletes, are we now seeing the decline in the level of committed players in the NCAA?
Yes, I would definitely say yes. Especially you're seeing in basketball, they have so many different platforms where you can go. So these athletes that would be committing to these big colleges now are given second thoughts. They can go to the developmental of the NBA, or they can go overseas. So there's a lot of different platforms now. Where you don't have to go to college. So yeah, the commitment has begun to decline, and it will continue to decline. That's just the way the world is now with the opportunity that these athletes have.
Right. Okay, Coach. So what are you doing when you're not training and when you're not sending me videos of Odell Beckham Jr. coming off the line?
I
What
like
did
to.
coach do?
I fell in love with golf 13 years ago. I wish I would have started back in college. Back in my day, if you played baseball, it was like taboo that you couldn't pick up a golf club and play baseball. So, with that being said, I travel now. I mean, I'm
Right.
always in Florida, at least sometimes 3 to 4 times a year, playing golf in other states, going and playing and here, where I'm at from the state of Illinois. So I love to play golf. That's the thing that I'm probably passionate about is participating and playing. As far as watching, uh, I still love watching high school football, going to games. I haven't been because of the pandemic, but now, of course, this year I'm gonna get back out there. But I love watching college football and baseball and gymnastics and track. So I'm just a sports fanatic. I love watching sports. That's what most of my time I spend doing is watching sports.
Okay. Well, we do. I know that you love golf. That was it's I just you just took a liking. It's like gee, I couldn't train sometimes because coach was going to play golf. And he's like, Michelle, you need to be in the field at 5 o'clock. I'm like, 5 a.m. Like, yeah, because I gotta go play golf.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
But
my
but it was
gosh.
nothing to my madness too because I needed to have you be able to get up and see could you mentally adjust? Was your focus gonna be there? Would your passion, you know, lag? You know what I'm saying? So all those things I was making mental notes. And yeah, it was true, but sometimes, I use that golf excuse just to see, and put you to the test. And honestly, you passed it. You know,
Even when we
I
did the
can't
rain and the
really.
snow, that was a test too.
Yeah, we did that. We definitely did that. I think I don't know if we had videos. I think we had a couple of videos. Might not have actually released them,
I didn't
but
post
yeah,
those. 'Cause
Michelle was out there in the rain. Like I told
listen,
her,
I didn't.
you ain't gonna be playing to no dome. You may hit a dome once or twice, but most of your games is gonna be in the element. So who am I not to train you to the best of my ability in all elements? So we was out there. I
Coach
mean, it might
had
have been
me
40
playing with
degrees
frozen fingers and frozen toes, coach.
sometimes. But you was a trooper. That's one thing I can say. She was out there shaking and shivering, but she was focused. She was still determined, and she gets angry when things don't go right. And I found it out more and more. But that was the competitiveness, and that is the competitiveness in her. So I had to allow her to be who she is and not take that away from her. And sometimes I had to say, hey, Michelle, we got to reel that in a little bit because you
I
going
was
off
just
on
about to say that whistle.
it.
So,
Yes.
coach, I'm gonna let you go, but and this was a great conversation. Thank you so much. But we always ask our guests, give us 3 nuggets on what you think it takes to be successful on and off the field, other than the 3 Ds. We heard that. Give us
Okay.
something that we can take that the student athletes and even adult athletes can take away.
Well, we talked about, you have to be a student, whether it's on the field or off the field. So you have to apply yourself uh, mentally, you know. Um, you have to have confidence. Without confidence, I mean, you can be so good, but once that confidence is gone, it's everything. And for those who may not be that good, but they think they better than what they are, it's because of that confidence, and it can take you a long way. So I would say a student of the game, confidence, and honestly, the last one I'm gonna say you have to have you have to be humble. Um, and if you don't, once again, I believe in God. God will have a way of humbling you. If you're a humble person, um, I think that will help you. That will take you a long ways in anything that you do. When you start thinking that you are beyond and bigger, then that's when, you get that, as we call, karma sometimes.
Right. All right, Coach. Well, thank you so much, Coach. I'm sure I'll be back in Chicago soon. I'll make sure I text you, give you a call, let you know so that we can hook up again and get on the field.
All right, all right.
All
And y'all
right.
keep following Michelle. She's doing a great job. And she's, sharing her gift, with the world in two different professions. So, Michelle, thank you so much for allowing me to be on your platform.
Thank you, Coach. And thank you for everything you've done to help me to be a beast in this sport.
All right, don't sleep.
That's not that humbleness that you were talking about. All right, Coach. Thank you. Talk to you later.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right. I told y'all this was going to be a great interview. The Coach Wright, my one of my mentors, taught me the game. Um, just, just, he's just a phenomenal person, and I thank him for everything he's done. And I also thank you all for joining me again this week. In regards to the Fierce Beauties, they're going to come on tomorrow, and we're going to have those girls on here. We want to see them before their season starts. We're going to have Maurisa Goldston, who is the commissioner of the Fierce Beauty League, Fierce Beauty Football League. She created the league. She's going to come on with her girls. We're going to rally behind them. Their first time on the field this weekend. If you're out in Texas, follow them. If you're out in Mississippi, we have the Mississippi Panthers. It's a WNFC team. That's a female football team. They are having their gala this weekend in Pearl, Mississippi. If you're out there, stop by, say hello, take a look at those beasts out there, and follow them next year, next season, the WNFC. Follow the WFA, another female football tackle team, and follow me. I don't know which team and which league I'm going to be playing with, but I will be playing. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to have a special show where we're going to have the Fierce Beauties on. So join me. I'll send out an invite. And thank you again, guys. So the podcast airs every Wednesday from 7 to 8 Central on Facebook. You can look it on Red Levels platform or on my Facebook page at Michelle R. Dunham, or just simply type in Misfit Lawyer. It's also aired on YouTube and it's saved there. So if you miss it, you can watch it anytime, just Misfit Lawyer. And you can also go to my website, www.misfitlawyer.com.
And what's the goal with the podcast?
The goal with the podcast, again, is to highlight these females out there playing, female student athletes out there balling, and to help create a pipeline and a path for them to be able to get paid to do it once they finish school.
Okay, great. What's next for you, Misfit Lawyer?
What's next for me? I'm going to get out there and I'm going to hit the pavement. I'm going to start recording, going live at these girls' games. I don't